We are one of Bath's best kept secrets, unfortunately.
When I walked into the shop and I saw you, I never would have imagined you would tell me I was a singer for 20 years.
I listen to Classic FM because I think that it's psychological for my customers, useful, practical and quality. And we wanted to know if you would be interested. And I said, well, don't be ridiculous. I work in a shop. People like the comfort that they feel when they walk into an old market. So I have 4 passions: my chihuahua, my garden, music, and my shop.
Well, Wendy, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Luca.
Thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
So, we're going to talk about 3 main things for the next hour. We're going to talk about the past, we're going to talk about the present, and we're going to talk about the future. So, before we go into all of that, who is Wendy?
I'm Wendy, and I am a 62-year-old woman, businesswoman. I have several stepchildren. I've been married once to my current husband. I have a lovely little dog who I also feel is my child. And I am English, but I did not grow up here. I grew up in the Southern Hemisphere, and particularly the South Pacific Islands. But all my mother's side of my family are from Bath and Bristol, so I have a very strong connection to Bath and Bristol and this area. And I'm a little old lady in a nice little shop.
A nice little shop.
In central Bath.
And this is the name of the shop, right? We're currently in...
This shop is called A Nice Little Shop. It's a market stall in the historic Bath Guildhall Markets on the High Street in central Bath. And I've been in this shop, been in the market for 27 years. I've been in this shop in one way or another, and I've been in this shop for 22 years, but not like this. I have changed it as it has needed to be changed. But it's been in its current format for the last 9 years, which is a souvenir and gift shop.
Okay, that's really cool. And I think a couple of months ago when I first came to you, when I came into the shop, I realized I had been in here before.
Oh yeah.
A couple of months ago, my family came down for my birthday around March, and they were walking around the Guildhall. And to be fair, I think I've lived in Bath for the past 5 years, and I think it was in March of this year when I first actually visited the Guildhall. I had never actually like stepped inside this market up until a couple of months ago. And I think my brother and his girlfriend, they came here to your shop here, and they bought something. I don't know what they bought. I didn't really care. It was their thing. So I think they bought like something for their friends. But yeah, I think I might have remembered there was a dog in the store as well.
Yes, a little chihuahua. I've got a little chihuahua who comes to work with me. He's not here today because it's very, very hot, as you know.
Yeah.
And although he is Mexican, so he should be able to cope with the heat, right?
Yeah, right.
But I just thought, to spare him any stress. And he is a magnet for my customers. I'm not in here every day. This is a 6-day market, covered market, 6 days, only closed on Sundays. And in the main, owner-operated, and all of us have maybe 1 or 2 casual staff. Some of the bigger ones have more staff. I have one member of staff who does, a couple of days a week for me. And but yes, the market in Bath, a lot of people that have lived here for a long time don't actually know that it's here. We are one of Bath's best kept secrets, unfortunately, but it's a treasure. It's it's the very first shopping centre in Bath. So it is a shopping centre, it's a shopping mall, shopping centre, and it's a very traditional market. We keep it as traditional as we possibly can. Not a lot of us embrace I mean, we have a social media presence, but it's not over the top. Some of them, and everyone is responsible for their own shops. The shops are independent, with individuals running them and managing them, although the Bath Council is our landlord. Whilst it's a cooperative, we are all independents in here, and in the main family owned and run operations. And some of the shops in here have been passed down generationally, and one of the shops in here has been passed down 3 generations. So 3 generations of the same family have run the same shop, which is absolutely delightful. I love that.
Oh, it's crazy. But focusing on your shop, this shop has existed here for the past...
So this shop here, it's been 9 years, but I've been in this site since 2002, and I used to be the fancy dress lady in Bath for many, many years, and I used to cater to all the students up at the various universities and colleges around Bath. And then World Book Day for the parents, and the parents when they were, having a party, fancy dress party. Fancy dress kind of got kind of kicked in the bottom by the internet, and people started going online and buying very, very cheap, nasty little outfits, and it did kill. There were 3 fancy dress retail outlets in and around Bath, 1 in Moreland Road and 2 in Central Bath, me being one of them. And the other one was 6s and 7s, which is over by Abbey Green, but they're no longer there. And they all closed. Oh, there was a giant party shop in Moreland Road. And we also did fancy dress hire. So I had about probably 1,200 costumes that had been seamstress made, so very, very good quality costumes that I hired out, and it was successful. No one in the market makes millions. We all make a living, but in the main we very much enjoy what we do because we're our own bosses and we're ultimately responsible for our own success.
That sounds really cool, Wendy. Now you've opened up the door to this. And the whole podcast, it's about how you've got to do what it is you're doing, in your case, a nice little shop. And you've already given us a bit of history of what you were doing before. So let's actually go into it right now. How have you got to do this? And you can go as far back as you want. 19 years old, 5 years old, whenever you want to start.
Well, I mean, obviously I didn't know I was going to be doing this.
Yeah.
I think through our lives we fall into things, doors shut, doors open. I've always been quite a good salesperson. I can't sell things that I don't like. So whenever I have sold, worked for shops or worked in a sales capacity in my past history, it's always had to be something I was interested in, or it had to be something that was very good quality or nice, or I mean, not everything in here is good quality, but I do have some very, very nice quality product, and I have every all amounts of money, so you can spend a lot or you can spend a little, and hopefully you still, even though you might spend a little, you still get something that's actually reasonable quality. How did I get into it? I don't know really. I just was always interested in selling. I enjoy people. I was involved in the music industry, which I also fell into on and off for about 20 years in Australasia, and I was 24, and someone threw me a birthday party, and they hired me a band, and a band turned up, and they set up all their equipment, and about halfway through the evening they said to me, you know, being the birthday girl, would you like to come and sing? And I said, I can't sing. And they said, oh, everyone can sing and it's your birthday, so you come and have a little sing. And I said, well, I don't really know any songs from start to finish. And they said, well, you must know one, or part of one. I said, well, I'll tell you what I do. I know The House of the Rising Sun. You know that one? No.
No idea.
It's an old song. Anyway.
You're going to sing it?
Absolutely not. And not without backing tracks and a microphone. Oh, I've got a microphone.
There you go, there's a microphone.
And so I got up and sang with the band, and it sounded all right. And when they came the next day, I was 24, I'm 62 now. When they came the next day to pick up their equipment, they said, you know, we've been looking for a female singer, and we wanted to know if you would be interested. And I said, well, don't be ridiculous. I work in a shop. You know, this is not this shop, for somebody else many, many years ago. And they said, well, it's only part-time. You know, you come to a rehearsal after work a couple of times a week, and maybe we do a gig on a Saturday night, a Friday night or a Saturday night. So I said, well, I'll come to a couple of rehearsals and see if we all get along and if I can sing or not. And they said, well, what we'll do is we'll record you singing and we'll play it back to you and you can be your own judge. So I went to a rehearsal and I sang just covers. I learnt some songs that they said they knew, and I went to the rehearsal and they recorded it and played it back, and I thought, that bloody hell, that sounds all right. And they said, sounds great, you know, we really like you to be our singer. So that's where that started, and I did that on and off, not just with them, with many, many different musical outfits, you know, many bands and duets and cabaret bands and all over Australia and Southeast Asia, so resorts and big casinos and lots of casino work. Good money, it's good, paid well, but it's quite a hard life, you know. You work very, very hard, especially in that part of the world, in the music industry, and so, you know, you do get a bit burnout. So if I felt that I was getting too exhausted from it, because we were very busy, we were very popular in all the different types of bands and duets that I was in, we always became quite popular. I was very good at selling it, and I would take, you know, 6 months off, and I would go and get a job in a shop or in a bar, tending bar or something like that, until I felt able to return to the band or whatever, or start a new band and take bookings for gigs, and off I'd go again. So I dipped in and out like that for over 20 years. And I'm not famous, but I did make a very, very decent living out of it. And it was great fun, what I recollect.
What you recollect. That's fantastic. So 24, 20 years, that's 44.
Right.
That is incredible. When I walked into the shop and I saw you, I never would have imagined you would tell me I was a singer for 20 years. Is there anything that you recall from one of those days that seems crazy now that you look back at it?
Well, I suppose because I'm in my shop environment, it is where I make my living.
Yeah.
So so it's going to be to do with money. So one of the gigs that I did one time with a duet, we were in a casino, a very large casino in Queensland, in Brisbane, Australia. And we were supporting a very big name, which no one would probably know of here, but they were big in Australasia. And sorry,
what's the name?
Renee Gale. So look her up. And so we were on first, and you know that in those casino bars, they're big bars and casino bars, you know, and you're on a stage, and it's quite dark, dimly lit, and everything. But there are people who are in there spending tens of thousands of dollars over there. It's not pounds over there, it's dollars.
Yeah.
And we were, the bar in this particular casino, at this particular gig that I did, was right next door to the High Rollers Club. And so the high rollers are the ones that go in and, you know, they'll put hundreds of thousands down on one bet. And so I was singing, and I had a guitarist, and we had backing tracks at that stage. And a chap, and I don't remember what he looked like, I don't remember him. I just remember a person coming in and putting, I had a very, very large, overly large wine glass as my tip jar on the edge of the stage, and he put his hand in his pocket and pulled out a handful of casino chips, and he put them in the big glass goblet. And at the end of our gig, we packed all our equipment up, and we were the support act, so we just, you know, took all our stuff down to the car park, put it in the car. I emptied out the goblet, and there was about $4,000 in there in casino chips, which, you know, back then that was good. That was a nice bit of money. Thank you. That was a good tip. Very good tip. Thank you very much.
Wow.
But he'd obviously had a big win, and he was in a good mood, and he wanted to share. That was nice.
Nice of him.
Yes,
That's great.
Very nice. I did thank him mid-song, but I didn't know what he'd put in there. Lots of people did that. They would put a chip in, might be $20, $50, $100, you know. But this, he put a big handful of them in. So he'd obviously had a big win. And, you know, we really appreciated that. It was nice. It's nice to be appreciated.
Absolutely.
It's a hard slog, music industry.
I bet.
Yeah.
It's not easy, especially nowadays, but back then probably just as hard, if not harder actually. So, how much money what was the most amount of money you made in music?
Well, that probably was on top of what we got paid to do that job.
Yeah.
Then that tip was probably the most I made in one night.
The money from the gig plus the.
Yes.
And if you forget the tip at the end, what was the most amount of money you've made for like one gig?
So that was it.
Oh, that was it.
And that would have been probably, from memory, about $6,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
And to think back, you said, I can't sing. I don't know any songs.
Right. But I'd had, you know, I didn't do any music lessons or anything like that, but I did take to it very, very naturally. And I did get some tips from some professional singers that I subsequently met on breathing, on how to breathe and how to project. And I just, you know, I just could do it very, very well. And I had a voice that, and I still do, I don't sing so much anymore. I certainly don't sing for money anymore, but I could if I had to. So if this all failed, I could probably get a job just doing the odd gig around Bath, and you know, maybe with a jazz band or a blues band or something like that. Just something very gentle. And every now and then, you know, do a really raucous, loud, bang it out tune. You know, so I've got a big voice. It's a big voice, but I have very, very good control over it. And people have always tended to enjoy it, so that's lovely. It's very nice. It's nice to be able to give that to people.
Have you recorded anything?
It's not out there to purchase or anything, because, you know, that's not the route that I went down.
Yeah.
Although that was offered to me, I wasn't interested. It's you know, it's hard on you as a individual to do that kind of work. You are stripped bare. Everything about you is made public. You know, I feel very sorry for. I mean, I'm not in the same league, but I feel very sorry for people like Amy Winehouse. You know, you get the media, the press, and you just hound it. You know, I don't know that I would have ever been that popular, but I did not ever want anything like that. I just wanted to get the gig, go to the gig, set up, entertain the crowd, whoever was there, and help them to have a really good time and enjoy themselves. Get our money, divide our money up, go home. That's all I ever wanted to do, and that's what I did.
So you did that for 20 years. And
On and off, yeah.
On and off, and the on and off between you doing that and the time off, you were bartending?
I was.
You were bartending, you said?
So I did some bartending work, quite a lot. You know, that's it's the same kind of environment.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was easy. I enjoyed bartending, but I mean back then it wasn't sort of cocktails. It was beers and wine and spirits and mixers. You know, and all the beers were on tap. You know, I mean the most anyone ever had that was you know, a bit different might have been a margarita or something like that, which I know how to make because I like to drink them. Right.
That's fair.
But yeah, no, bartending has changed. You know, it's become a big skill, quite rightly. It's like, you know, making coffee, you know, with making espresso coffee. You know, people have a taste in their mind, and that's what they want, and it's all theatre, and they want to, you know, the public want to watch their drinks being made and decorated, and then they want to really enjoy that drink because they pay quite a bit of money for it. And so it wasn't like that when I was bartending.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I used to drink. You asked me before I came here if I wanted to drink. I said no, I don't drink anymore. I used to drink, obviously. I went to university. I was drinking. Each year was quite a drinking year, I would say. Yeah. Not drink anymore though, but yeah, all the cocktails. It's become such a show with them, right? They're really nice though. I do like a good cocktail. I think my favorite one would be, if it's a sweet one, maybe an espresso martini. It's really good. If it's like not sweet, it's maybe like winter. Negroni.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
You have a gin tonic over there.
I have a gin and tonic. Yes.
You said a margarita is your favorite, but
well, I mean, you know, I don't drink a lot of margaritas, although I do hold the record for the most margaritas drunk in one sitting in Bath.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So that covers a number of years. 44. What did you do after?
Came back here.
Yeah. From Australia, sorry. Yeah.
And, you know, there's a couple of years sort of, you know, here and there. Came back here, met, so I wasn't 44, I was 40, came here. And no, 38, no, 37. So my years are a bit funny.
That's okay.
And but I met my current husband, my only husband. I had never been married before. I didn't want to inflict my family on anyone previous to that.
Okay.
But most of them, while some of them live, you know, in outskirts of Bristol, they're not my immediate family, who are spread around the world really, but mainly in Australasia now, although they're, you know, my parents are English and my mother's from here. So I came here and I met Mike. He had a little shop in this market. So I became, within days of being back in Bath, I became immediately aware of the old market again. And he had a little shop in here, and he was selling dried flowers in those days. And so he was friends with a friend of mine that lived here, and she introduced me to him as a potential employer. And so I worked for him for a couple of days a week, and then I went and worked at the Francis Hotel on Queen Square because it was more full-time doing bar work. And then he and I, over a short period of time, got together. He's previously married with 3 children, 3 young children then. So the youngest boy was about 8, and 9.5 and maybe 11 or 12 boys, lovely boys. And so we got together and started to live together. So in the meantime, he'd gone from this market and gone to do something else, and in Bath. And then we noticed a shop come empty in down the other end. So we decided to lease it, and we opened a shop called Fantastic, which is there today, and that's his shop now. And then during that time, we also opened sort of this, but in another position in the market. And then this one became available, so I moved it to here. It was a gift shop back then. And then very quickly I turned it to, took the gifts out of it, or sold them off, and turned it into a fancy dress shop, because an opportunity to buy costumes for hire became available. So we bought them, and we turned it into fancy dress shop. So I pretty much ran that, and Mike ran the other shop. And then the internet kind of killed fancy dress, and I did that for about 12 or 13 years. And we made a living. We weren't getting rich or anything, but we were paying our bills, and it wasn't rocket science. It's quite gentle, quite genteel. I had a lot of fun, and many laughs with my customers with fancy dress. And so easy, it's easy. And I think if you can do that in your life with your work, enjoy it as much as you can, it does make it easier. So if you're doing something that you don't like, change it and try and find something that you do like. If you're doing something that you don't like and you think that you can make it better, that same thing, make it better and like it more, then do that. So anyway, then we changed it. We changed it to this. There was a year gap where my husband did a computer repair shop in here, but the lease on this shop is in my name, so it's my shop. And I took a year off and I landscaped my garden. I have a very big garden, very small house and a very big garden. So I landscape my garden. It's my other passion in life. So I have four passions. My chihuahua, my garden, music, and my shop. They're my family, but they're all grown up and they're all good. And so the fancy dress for everyone that had retail outlets for it, it became very, very difficult. People buying really, really rubbishy costumes online. Our hire went, downhill. So we donated most of those costumes to the Bath University, their drama and creative side of the university. I don't know what's happened to them now, but they got some very, very good, beautifully made period costumes and all sorts of things. Three Musketeers and but all handmade, really good stuff. And I had a year off. My husband did a computer repair shop in here. It didn't really work out. I stepped back in. We changed it to this. He does his shop now. I do this one. I'm completely the owner of this shop. It's my shop. I do all the buying. I do all the hiring and firing. Not that I've got anyone to do that with, but it sounded good.
Okay.
And here we are, and it ticks along very nicely. I'm not by any stretch of the imagination, paying off the UK's deficit, but I pay VAT. I'm registered for VAT. I pay VAT. I pay PAYE. I pay corporation tax. I do all that stuff, and it annoys me because they waste it. But I love to come to work. I love to stay at home for a couple of days a week, but I love to come to work. I love coming into this shop. I like my customers are from all over the world because I sell souvenirs and gifts in a historic Victorian market that is a tourist attraction in itself. I also get lots of our lovely locals in here to buy things because I've got nice things, and I love being at work. I love chatting to my customers. I like finding out where they're from, what's happening in their countries, if they've got time to chat, and I've got time to chat to them. And I speak to pretty much everyone that steps into this shop. I say at least hello, how is your day going? I help people to find things, so I send them to different, I tell them where the shops are that they're after, I tell them where the post office is, I tell them which hotels they might like to go to, I tell them how to get to places, I tell them about restaurants that I would go to myself, cafes that I would go to myself, tell them where to avoid. You know, we're ambassadors for Bath, really, shopkeepers in Bath, independent shopkeepers in Bath are ambassadors for Bath. And, you know, I'm passionate about Bath. It's a beautiful place.
It is a really beautiful place. Yes, it is. So, when you're here in your shop, when you don't have customers in, very rarely, I bet, because you're such a lovely
it's
person.
Up and down. I mean, we're in the height of the tourist season at the moment, so, you know, we're quite steadily busy. Only one person can manage it. There's not enough space in this shop for two people. So, you know, I'm in here and, you know, I've got control of it. It's absolutely fine. I've got CCTV on the outside and inside, and you know, you can't get tons of people in here, so I can see what everyone's doing. I'm very vocal, so I'm very helpful. They all know that I'm there to help and watch. It's pretty easy to navigate. Everything's priced. You know, it's easy. It's not rocket science. Very enjoyable. I've got nice little things. They choose something. They come to the counter. They pay me. I say thank you very much. Is there anything else I can help you with? Have a lovely day. How do I get? They might say, how do I get to the Roman baths from here? So I give them directions. Some of my directions are a little bit dodgy, although I know Bath like the back of my hand. But if they ask me how to get to Glastonbury, they could very well end up in Edinburgh. But just, you know, in the local city centre, I know every street, and I know a lot of the shops and hotels and restaurants and cafes. So I can be quite helpful.
Got a funny question for you. I had an argument with one of my friends. High Street.
Mm-hmm.
If I was to ask you, where is the High Street? Where would you say the High Street is?
So Bath's High Street is at the front entrance to this market. It goes past the Guildhall, it comes around Orange Grove, it begins at the end of Orange Grove. So it starts kind of at on the corner of the Guildhall and All Bar One, right? And it comes all the way along here, and it finishes at the end of the Guildhall.
That's I fully agree with you. That was my answer as well. He told me, Luca, I'll meet up with you on the High Street. I was like, perfect. I'll meet you there. Come here in front of the Guildhall. I keep waiting, and then he says, I'm by the Singer. I was like, okay, cool, I'll wait here. And then he says, where are you? I was like, I'm on the High Street. Where are you? He said the High Street was, you know where Itsu is, where the Roman baths are, where... He said that's the High Street. No, that's not the High Street. Under no circumstances is that the High Street.
I mean, the High Street historically would have had a lot more shops. This one would have had a lot more shops.
Yeah.
You know, but Bath, they've changed the, you know, the way the traffic moves. You know, shops have moved out, more offices have come in, and, you know, they've changed the way the traffic moves. There's a lot of it. This High Street would have been a lot longer.
Yeah.
It would have gone all the way possibly to the beginning of Walcott Street.
Yeah.
Right, and there would have been lots and lots and lots of little shops all the way along, apart from the Guildhall. The market's been here for hundreds of years. And then across the road, that would have all been shops. I mean, there's more offices, and it's it is a bit bitsy for a high street. High streets are usually long, straight, and there's loads and loads and loads of shops either side. So ours has probably been shortened, but that out there is the high street. You were right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. So back to the shop, when you don't have customers in, how do you spend your time? Is it you managing the inventory, or updating pricing? What do you do?
Well, yeah, so I have to keep it tidy, I have to keep it clean, I move things around, I change displays, I play with my dog, I do orders, I listen to my old radio, to Classic FM. I play Classic FM on my old radio.
Is that the one over there?
Yeah.
Oh, I need to take a picture of that, because that's very
fantastic,
cool.
isn't it?
Yeah.
I listen to Classic FM because I think that it's psychological for my customers. It's very gentle, very genteel, very gentle, and it suits the tweed and some of the product that I sell. So I play Classic FM. People come in and they stand there just listening to it because they like it too. It also keeps out the riffraff.
The riffraff. What's the riffraff?
Well, it keeps out the undesirables, darling. No, people that don't like Classic FM don't come into my shop. Or people that, it's not sort of bang, 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 bang music. It suits the shop. And so I play that. So I listen to that. I do lots of ordering. I do sell quite a lot of product. I have quite a few suppliers in the country who are importers, wholesalers, and I'm always on the lookout for something to add to my mix. I do use quite a few suppliers, so I'm constantly ordering. I order little and often. So I have to I get it in, I have to mark it all off, make sure they've dispatched me the correct stock. I have to price it up, I have to find somewhere to put it, change displays, chat to my customers. My friends come past and pop in and have a cup of tea.
When it comes to ordering things for your shop, one of my friends from work, I told her I would come here and have a chat with you. And not just her, but I've asked a couple of people if they were here today with me and you, what sort of question they would ask you. So one of the questions someone wanted to know the answer to was, or is, how do you choose what to order? Do you have any criteria? Because you've got loads of things here. So how do you decide what to order? Apart from, I guess, that item sells the most, so I'm definitely going to order that.
Well, like I said earlier, I like to sell things that I like myself, and I like to sell quality. It doesn't have to be, really, really high end, but it's got to be well made. I've got some very, very nice things in here. How do I choose it? I think I have an eye. I think about if I was a local in Bath, or I was coming to Bath to visit. I mean, there are other souvenir shops out there, but this one's quite quirky because I choose the product for it, and I like quirky things. But quality has to play a part, and how do I find that? I go to trade fairs. I'm long established, so some of my suppliers I've had since I first had a gift shop in here, before I changed it into a fancy dress shop. I went back to those original suppliers and rekindled my relationship with them, and renewed my accounts with them. But I do legwork to find product that I think is interesting. I mean, I do all the basic stuff as well. Like I do the fridge magnets, do the keychains, do postcards, And some of the other, I mean, there's not a finite amount, not an infinite amount of product available specifically for Bath. So I do try to sell Bath-specific product, but it's not, there's not a lot of it. So you know, I've tried over the years, I've introduced some artwork from a local artist. Not those ones, these cards, and he does prints as well. Yeah, Bath rugby playing on the rec. You know, I think he might sell to one other shop in Bath. That's the other thing. I try to get exclusivity with my suppliers. Sometimes they can, sometimes they are such a big importer that they can't. But then I go through their product lines with a fine tooth comb, and I only get things that I think people that are travelling would like, or our Bath locals would like as a gift to pick up for one of their friends or their mothers or fathers or whatever. And you have to, you know, you kind of, when you've been doing retail for such a long time, it's such a small space, you do get a feel for it. You do get a feel for what sells and what doesn't sell. And I have a small bric-a-brac section over in that corner, and where I sell pre-loved items. So I go to car boot sales through the summer. I might find a silver-plated teapot and milk jug and sugar. Give them I buy them for a couple of quid. I give them a nice spruce up, give them a polish, clean them up, put them in there, sell them for 12 quid. Do you know what I mean? So I quite enjoy doing that. But if I didn't enjoy selling what I sold in this shop, then I wouldn't be a shopkeeper anymore. I'd go and work for someone else in a garden centre, or, you know, in something to do with horticulture, probably, part-time. But I do very much enjoy this little shop. I get wonderfully interesting people. And because I guess the visitors to Bath that come in here, because they're on holiday, they're in a really good headspace, and they very much respond to a local being friendly to them and helpful. And I enjoy that. I enjoy being friendly to them and helping to make their visit to Bath something to remember.
If you saw me walk into your shop, what do you think I should buy? Or, yeah, what should I buy for?
Well, I'm not hard sell. If you came in here and said to me, you know, ma'am, I'm looking for something to buy for my friend, what could you recommend? I'd ask you questions. I'd say, well, you know, what kind of age group are they? What are their interests? You know, are they going traveling shortly? If you said yes, they're going traveling shortly, I'd say, you know, what do they do for a living, so that I can get an idea if they like tweed, or right, or if are they British? Are they patriotic? You know, I do this lovely vintage look line of, you know, cushions and wash bags. You know, that's for toiletries. That's the Welsh flag for your toiletries, a wash bag. So it's, you know, it's waterproof inside, so you can put your toothbrush, toothpaste, your you know, your aftershave, your shaving brush, your shaving paraphernalia in that, and really smart, and a lovely gift for a friend who maybe was going off traveling, or just because it's a really nice wash bag, and every young man should have a wash bag.
I'll tell you something. Funny you picked that up. I need one. I realized a couple of months ago. I keep going. I'm from Romania, and I either travel back to Romania, or I go on a holiday. Say I just went to Spain a couple of months ago, and I realize I keep putting like toothbrush, my
Into a plastic bag.
into a plastic bag, and you know what's tragic? I use the same plastic bag every single time, and you know, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. And I'll tell you something else. That plastic bag, I've had it for the past 2 years and a half, and I got it from an airport.
Right.
So it's
Shame on you.
yeah. So I might need one of
No,
those.
you need something smarter, Luca.
Yeah.
Something smart, you know, and something that will last.
Yeah, not a plastic bag from an
Right.
airport. Yeah.
That will last you a long time.
Yeah, and I think
And
it's big enough for me to like
Yeah,
actually like.
and
yeah.
it'll fit, you know, or your shaving kit if you shave, you know, your whatever your toiletries are, your shampoo, your conditioner, your aftershave, your toothbrush, your toothpaste, will all fit in there beautifully. You know, if you use
Soap?
a sea
Soap.
a soap, a sea sponge, or you know, your
Yeah,
a face wash or a flannel or something, it can all go in there. So you know, there's a nice little gift. I would ask you questions if you came in and said to me, "I've got a friend that I want to buy something special for." You know, so some people I can help, and some people, you know, I haven't got what they're looking for. You can't please everyone all the time.
That's
But I
true.
do my best to help them, and in helping them, I would find it very satisfying, but also they would leave happy, and that makes me happy.
I'm glad. I think that's a nice feeling when someone leaves your shop being happy, for you and for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you had one of my other friends from work, Sarah, this time? Me and Sarah have a nice chat every other week on a Wednesday, and when I told her about this, she was curious to know if you have had any weird requests from a customer. I'm not sure if that's a thing, but the customers come here, and maybe would the local come here and have any requests, and if so, have you had any weird requests?
Not that I can think of. When I was fancy dress, I got some strange people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not with this shop. It's pretty straightforward. You know, this is a pretty straightforward shop.
Fair
It's
enough.
gifts and souvenirs.
Gifts and souvenirs.
And lots of quite useful things. I think I like things that have a practical use. So, you know, not just trinkets and, you know.
To be fair, I see a kitchen glove.
Yes,
Is that
that's
what you call
right,
it? Yeah,
yes.
really useful.
And really good quality and last you for years and years and years. Throw them in the washing machine. So, you know, useful, practical and quality and attractive.
That's a nice design. I like the navy blue one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Well, that's with our flag on. It's lovely.
Yeah, I don't know anything with that Welsh dragon. It's not. I don't like it personally, but that's just me. I think the British flag is.
The Union
Better.
flag is, you know, recognisable globally. It's
Yeah.
quite an icon. I love it. I love our flag. You know, and every country should love their flag.
Yeah.
But I love our flag, recognised the globe over, and I think it stands for, in the main, you know, it's a quite a positive flag. You know, I hope, I like to think that wherever it's flown around the world, or you know, in our past history, I hope that it's remembered as a good thing. It's iconic. But the Welsh flag is lovely as well. And the reason I sell, you know, some of this Welsh flag product is because we're here in Bath, very, very close to the Welsh border. And lots of lovely Welsh people. I don't know if you're familiar with the Welsh people as a country, as a culture.
I know they are very close to us, and I know
Right.
they've got loads and loads of castles.
They've got a lot of castles.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what? The Welsh are very, very fun people. They love to shop. They like a bargain, but they like quality. They love coming to Bath. Generationally, they've come to Bath to shop around Christmas time for their Christmas presents. They love coming into markets. They're very friendly, and they're always in good humour. So I like to make them feel very welcome. And plus my husband has Welsh ancestry, so it keeps him happy as well.
Fair enough. That's cool. True. I should maybe visit Wales a bit more. On a different line of questions now. Who do you think has given you the biggest step up, and why? And who was that? Who was that, and what was the step up? Sorry.
I don't think anyone's ever really given me a step up. Anything that I have done, I have gone and got and done with my own steam. I'm not scared. I've always been, I think, with music being in my background, it gives you confidence. I can, talk to groups of people. I can, which is great in here, because if I have lots of different people who don't know each other, I can actually address all of them, and I do, with something funny or something sarcastic but funny, so that background in music is, very useful for me. It's like crowd control, in a good way. I don't think I've ever had a step up from anyone. If I've wanted to do something, I've gone and done it myself. If I don't have anything that I can't pay for, so I'm not overly extravagant. If I can't afford something, I save up till I can afford it. If it's beyond me, eventually I give up and I spend what I've saved on something that I can afford. So I don't, no one's really given me a step up.
That's okay. Is there anyone you have looked up to over the years?
Well, there's many amazing people out there. There are amazing people out there that have done wonderful things, and who are very clever and very creative and generous. I just can't think of anyone off the cuff at the moment. I read a lot. I know I can't, put on the spot.
That's okay.
Think of anyone specifically, but I do listen to a lot of people. I like watching documentaries and, in my spare time, and I like to read. I like to read all sorts of different things from, I like science fiction, I like horror, I like fiction, I like true stories, I like autobiographies, I like biographies, so lots of people have influenced me. I'm not closed off to information from anywhere, or anyone that wants, that has information that I think is interesting or helpful. I'll listen to anyone. Talk a lot to my customers. I get a lot of information from my customers. Yeah.
Looking at your marriage and yourself and Michael, is there anything that you think you've learned from being married to a person for so long that you think people who don't get married won't realize until they do and experience that journey?
I love being married. It gives me a lot of comfort that I have someone that I can rely on. And I think that people that don't get married, and that could have been me, I was not really looking to get married, That could have been me. But people that don't get married, I think they become a little bit selfish, a bit self-obsessed, a bit insular. You know, they're not sharing anything, are they? They don't have anyone else to look after or to bounce off. Or, you know, my husband and I have started a few businesses together. We don't have businesses together now, although we do have shares in another business together with his youngest son, my youngest stepson. It's a removals business, but I'm a silent partner, so I stay out of it. I let them get on with it.
Yeah.
This is my thing. Outright, right? There's no interference. This is mine. I do exactly what I want, when I want, how I want. If I make a mistake, it's on me. If I make a success of it, I'll take that. Husband, he's a really good person. And he's very well known. I suppose if you're not a step up, we're going back to the step up, not a step up, because no, it hasn't been like that. But I think being with my husband has, you know, he's proper Barthonian. Proper Barthonian. If he doesn't know someone, they don't live here, right? Old school as well. Old school. He's very, very. He's a very helpful person to his friends. He's very generous with his time for people, even complete strangers. We're both a bit like that. You know, we're both quite helpful, quite generous with our time and our information. But he is quite a special person. Some people call him Mr. Bath, and I would go along with that. Very well known because he's a good and genuine, humble, fun human being. Quite popular. So I suppose we were meant to be together. But I don't know, he hasn't given me a step up, but maybe I wouldn't be in this market doing what I'm doing if it hadn't been for the fact that when I met him, he was in here doing something. He subsequently left, and then we came back together. But I wouldn't have known about this market for a long time because it's such a hidden thing. You say yourself. You know that yourself, don't you?
Yeah.
But it's a wonderful old market, and it's got good bones, and it's got a nice soul, and it's generation after generation after generation of people plying their wares and selling their things in here, and I love that history. I love that deep history of it. It's lovely. It's a nice feeling. It's very comforting. Quite an old-fashioned person myself.
That's okay. But it's a historic place, and it feels right to have a place like yours that sells what I would say, looking around, some things look like historic pieces of historic items that are a reflection of where we are, where the Great Britain has been.
It's kind of a little old-fashioned in here, but people like it. People do like that. I think since COVID as well, people have done a complete circle. You know, you don't want thing. You know, some people, not all. Generalizing a bit, but you know,
that's okay.
People like the comfort that they feel when they walk into an old market, you know, and things are done the old-fashioned way. There's not too much technology involved. You talk to a person who probably owns that shop or is a family member of the owner of that shop in a market. you know. It's kind of nice.
And it's simple.
It's very simple.
And I think that's the difference between shops like these and shops that are newer. And going to a point of after COVID, things might have changed a bit. And that's true because everyone was maybe shopping online, if anything, and they had a lot of choice, and everything was, they would just see ads coming from all different places. Whereas this is very nice. You come in, you see quirky things. They look interesting, and you've got choice. You've got the right amount of choice as well. And just looking around, they look nice. I haven't felt anything, but they look like they have like they're good quality. Doglicious. My mom would like a doglish. I think she's kept ever since she came. She visited a couple of months ago. She's been telling me that I need to go back to a market and get. We've got 2 dogs, and she's kept going that we need a new leash and stuff. Like, can you not buy one from? Well, maybe I'll take some pictures to see.
Well, they're tweed. They're tweed, Luca. So they're very sort of British. You know, tweed. Do you know tweed?
I don't know. Is it material?
So tweed is this wool mix with those patterns on.
Okay.
You know, this is tweed.
Okay. So I'm starting to see it.
Tweed. You know, the waistcoats are tweed. It's a very British thing. It's a blend of wool and other textiles, but it's the stripes and patternation on the product that tells people that it's tweed. It's very British. British people that come in here say, "Oh God, I feel like I'm being hugged by my country," and it's so nice. It's so nice. I like that.
Before I ask you my last question, one of my friends, Aaron, he has been a massive help, helping me, giving me feedback with this podcast, and he was really interested in finding out if there was anything that back when you were young, when you were 24 maybe, just before you said yes to becoming a singer, if there's anything you back then felt like it was going to be important, and now looking back at it, it was never important.
It was going to be important. I thought it would be important, but it's not. Hasn't turned out to be important. Yes. Yes. You don't need to be rich. Get your wealth, right, from your relationships with your friends and your family, from enjoying what you do daily, if possible, from your environment. In my case, from singing occasionally, from cooking. I love to cook. I love to cook, and I like to eat. I like to cook, and I love to eat what I cook. And I eat all the leftovers as well. Cooking for my family and friends brings me a lot of pleasure. So being rich, I know a lot of rich people, and they're not terribly happy. They're no happier than anyone else, right? And they can do anything they want because they've got the means to do it. And they do it, but it doesn't make them happy. So being really rich, and I thought when I was younger I needed to be rich. I don't need to be rich. I just need enough to have reasonable food, and I work hard. I work hard at what I do, and I work hard to make my living and to make my life a bit easier, because I'm not old, but I'm not young, and I thought having a lot of money would make people happy. I've never had a lot of money, but having enough to have decent food and a good bottle of wine with that food, and be able to have your friends over every couple of months, and you can afford to feed them good food that you've cooked yourself. Those things are the priority in life, not being mega wealthy. You only need as much as you need to live.
Well, thank you for that, Wendy. That's good advice for, I think, not just for me, but like for anyone that's going to watch this.
Okay.
Finally, what's next for you? What's next for Wendy?
Well, I'm very happy doing what I'm doing at the moment. If I ever get the opportunity to retire, because they keep changing the goalposts or the age, maybe I would, I often think I might have a year somewhere like maybe in Sicily, somewhere lovely, or in Tuscany, or somewhere in Europe, a year, and maybe take up painting, watercolors in that place. Go and rent a villa or a little cottage or something for a year, and live in a European culture. I think that would be wonderful. Maybe I'll go to Romania.
Maybe we'll go to Romania.
And rent a cottage there for a year and take up painting.
Well, if you do, let me know.
I will.
Give you some recommendations.
Okay.
Finally, obviously, thank you for that. Do you have any questions for me?
Well, where do you see yourself in the future, Luca?
Where do I see myself in the future? I like to think that soon enough I will have my own, just like you have your own shop, I'm hoping to have my own shop somehow. I keep doing different bits. So I'm a software developer, for example. So my current job is just for a company bot, and I just go and do some coding for them. And on the side, I keep trying to either build up websites for other people, or recently, just very recently, as of last weekend, I had this very interesting idea. It wasn't mine, it was one of my friends actually. You know about artificial intelligence. And I was chatting with one of my friends, and he mentioned, wouldn't it be cool to have some sort of a service that helps the normal employee, but also the manager, create a step-by-step plan on how someone might achieve either a salary increase or a promotion, and make that whole experience really, really easy. Because the reality is, I think for me, and from the stories I've heard from my coworkers and friends, the reality is that people don't know how to start thinking about promotions or salary, or how to increase their salaries. They are a bit uncomfortable with the conversations, and the reason that happens is because you don't have a step-by-step plan or the confidence in the things you've done to go and have a chat with whoever that is, your manager or your boss or whoever that is, to have that conversation. But hopefully having a service that would allow you to create that and back all of that up with the evidence you've created with the help of the service, and all of it would be, because I told you about the artificial intelligence, this would be in connection with the artificial intelligence that would help you create that based on your values, the company values, your priorities, and what you want to develop yourself in. So putting all of that together and creating this very nice step-by-step plan that would enable you to have those conversations. So I'm currently building that. So
Wow.
I just started, but it's things like this. I wanna keep trying to do things like this that would get me closer to hopefully something that would enable me to have that thing of my own. So I don't want to work for someone for my entire life.
No.
And I would just like to have the sort of thing you have.
Okay. Well, can I tell you something that I see about you
Please.
as a young person? I don't know how old you are.
24.
24.
Just turned 24.
So for a 24-year-old, I see in front of me you know, are very confident, are very calm, and you emanate that calm. So, you know, this being interviewed is not, I mean, I'm usually in control. So this is not my natural habitat, right? Normally I ask the questions, right? So this is quite unusual for me. And I'm very, very private as well. But what I see in you, unlike a lot of other 24-year-olds, people in your age group, with you are very confident, a very approachable young person, and you have a very kind and personable demeanor, right? You aren't frightened to talk. You speak very, very well. It's very clear. It's nice. It's a nice. You have a nice voice, a nice speaking voice, and there's absolutely no reason that you can't pursue that dream. Be challenging, but go for it. But because you're so young, you know, with management and stuff, if they're going to be approached by a youngster about how that youngster can, you know, move up the chain, they're going to feel threatened, right? Aren't they? And basically, you're after their job, aren't you? So they're not going to be that helpful, are they? You know what I'm saying. So yeah, so you need to work for yourself. But there's, you know, from what I can see from you, with the confidence, and you know, you're very personable, and you're not scared, and the best thing about you is the eye contact, right? You're not scared. Lots of people your age can't make eye contact. You know, they're doing this all the time. They can't look a person in the eye. It's very important to be able to look someone in the eye and talk to them and make them understand you and help. So I understand you, and then you help you to understand me. So eye contact's great. You know, a very confident person. I think you'll do very well. And I wish you all the success in the world. But it'll take time.
Wendy, I thank you so much. I appreciate this, and thank you for all the compliments. Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's true.
Wendy, now we're wrapping up. One of the messages I sent you was, are you vegetarian or anything like that? And you said, no, you eat anything. You just said you eat the leftovers as well. Me too.
Live to eat to live, darling.
That was the message, exactly.
Yeah.
So let me just get my thing from the bag. So what I have here is, back in high school, a couple of years ago, one of my friends, she introduced me to this chocolate bar.
Wow.
You can have it.
Thank you.
Now this chocolate bar has got a lot of chocolate.
Yes.
I used to, when I was a kid, like any other kid, I used to obviously eat the chocolate bars every now and again. And every time I would have a chocolate bar, it was always lacking the right amount of chocolate.
Right.
It always felt that I want more chocolate. And back in high school, my friend introduced me to this chocolate bar. Even though I was in Romania, I don't think the chocolate bar is Romanian. I gave this chocolate bar to a DJ, had a podcast with Darren, and his mother is from, if I'm not mistaken, Hungary. His mother is from Hungary, and he said that the Hungary has got something very similar to this. Now, this is my favorite chocolate bar, dark chocolate, hopefully you like it, and he's got a lot of chocolate.
Right.
So when you eat it, do let me know how you feel about it.
I will.
Because I hope that I found the
I
best.
very much look forward to eating that chocolate bar, and I'm not sharing with anyone. All right, that chocolate bar is going straight down this neck, darling. Lovely.
Nice. You might put it in the fridge because it's been
I
very
will
hot
put
recently.
it in the fridge. Well, Luca, I have something for you also. So it's just a little tiny posy of sweet pea flowers, very English. And they're from my garden, I grow them. So you smell those. And so if you just,
Smell really
aren't they
nice.
amazing? So if you put those in a little glass by your bedside, all night you'll get this beautiful, gently pleasant aroma from them. And I grew them. And that's a small, tiny little posy of them. I couldn't give you any more than that because they're my husband's favorite flower, and I didn't want to make him jealous.
That's absolutely fair enough. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this, Wendy.
So I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Wendy, again.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Very nice to meet you.
I ask you over again. You always